Today I'm going to show you how to build a very simple tool, but an extremely useful one, and that is a ruler that clips to the face of your anvil.
Hi, I'm Dennis Frechette, and welcome back. Today I'm reposting a video on probably one of the most useful tools that I've ever made. It's my Anvil ruler. You've seen it in a lot of my videos. I use it all the time. It got a lot of views when I first posted it, but it hasn't been doing much lately, so I thought I would repost it to see if I can reach a new audience. Hope you enjoy it.
Today I'm going to show you how to build a very simple tool, but an extremely useful one, and that is a ruler that clips to the face of your anvil. Now obviously this ruler isn't built accurately enough to do any precise measuring, but there is often a need when you're forging to just have a quick reference to let you know where you are in the process. And this ruler does allow you to do a quick check right at the anvil without stopping what you're doing to reach for another tool. The material I happen to be using today is 1/8 inch by 1 inch flat bar, but you can really make this out of just about anything. It just has to be sturdy enough to clamp firmly to the anvil and not be knocked around while you're hammering on the face of the anvil. This piece is 16 inches long, but you'll have to tailor that to fit your anvil. So there's nothing fancy about this build. I'm just cleaning up the ends and putting a slight curve so that they slide over the sides of the anvil very smoothly. It's all pretty self-explanatory as I go along. So this is the clip that fits on the inside edge of the anvil. I just want a simple bend here. I don't want there to be a lot of spring on this side. Here I'm just estimating where the bend needs to go on the far side of the anvil. I want there to be at least 3 inches of overhang on the far side of the anvil because quite often I'm measuring offsets and I need to reach over the far end of the anvil, so I want some way of measuring that. I'm going to use this chalk mark to set the piece back in the fire, and that's going to let me know where the bend is located so I can make sure that it's sitting in the hottest part of the fire. And then when I pull the piece out of the fire, this set of dividers is going to let me know where I need to do the actual bend. Here I'm just transferring the mark to the other side of the piece so I can put it in the fire with the clip facing up. Now I'm getting ready to shape the actual spring that's going to clamp this ruler to the anvil, so I'm setting up a pair of dividers to the total width of the anvil face so I can use that as a reference. I've decided that I need to tighten up this curl quite a bit, so I'm driving a chisel in here just to act as an anvil, and that's going to allow me to hammer the curl a little bit tighter, but still keep it clear of the main bar. I want it to be flexible there. I don't want to be dragging on the main section of the ruler, so this is just a simple way of approaching it. I didn't really have anything to fit in there, so sometimes you just improvise and do what you can. So after a few minutes of fine tuning, I have everything set up the way I want it. There's just enough tension to provide a snug fit to keep the ruler in place, but you don't need a crowbar to take it off when you don't want it there. So now it's just a matter of using a ruler to mark off where the file marks need to go to measure off the inches. The first mark lines up exactly with the corner of the anvil, and then I just work over from there. The thing I like about this type of ruler is that it's very sturdy and reliable, so you can clamp this onto your anvil 100 times and that first mark is always going to line up exactly where you laid it out. And I always use a 3-corner file to file in the markings. I know it's a crude ruler, but you do want to try to make it as accurate as you can. So just take your time, make sure you have good lighting and strong eyeglasses, and then just take it one mark at a time. I do the long markings by first establishing the location of the cut, and then I'll slowly lower the handle end of the file until I get the length of the cut that I want. And then you just work your way along, and every once in a while you stop and sight down the length of the thing to make sure that all the lines are the same length. Again, it doesn't have to be that accurate, but it does look nicer if they're all roughly the same length. So you can see here how the first mark lines up with the edge of the anvil, and then I just work my way along to the other side. Now this is the far edge of the anvil, and you can set this ruler up any way that you want, of course, but the way that I use it, I always need to want to measure from the outside edge going outwards. So this section of the ruler basically tells me how much I have overhanging that edge of the anvil. Now it worked out very nicely here because I happen to have a mark that lines up close enough with that edge, so I just continued the ruler straight across. But if I didn't, I would leave a space right here so I would know where that ruler started. So basically what I'm after here for the way that I work is 2 separate rulers, one that starts from the inside edge and measures into the face of the anvil, and one that measures from the outside edge and measures out from the face of the anvil. And that gives me the information that I need when I'm doing production work and trying to get a lot of pieces to look exactly the same.